Hey everyone, you know who it is? I know. It's not Sunday and I'm late. But don't worry, I'll make it up to you all. Before I do commence with the episode, though, I feel the need to address something important. The stories that I report on, or personal stories I share with you on this show, are true, and I have never once come on this show and done a single segment with the purpose of intentional deception. You might ask why I feel the need to make this disclaimer now of all times, but it's because I spent a fair portion of my time the last 2 weeks addressing what was said in my previous installment and had to weather a storm of insults, accusations of lying, claims of concern about my sanity, and an assault on my integrity. This show is not about that. I made my point last episode, and in the period since then, stand by my retelling of events exactly as they occurred, or as I perceived them to have occurred. I found my closure, and though the matter is really not put to rest objectively, I personally am walking away from it all. Come what may for the people I care about, or admittedly have mixed feelings about, it's their dilemma now, not my own. So then, with that said, it's time I do what I enjoy doing, listeners, and that's giving you another point of view. Thanks for joining me today. Let's keep this installment light and start this off with a little discussion I call Let's Talk Internet. Okay, so this is interesting news. The hacking group known as Anonymous, or at least someone claiming to be a part of their group, recently made an announcement that the National Aeronautics and Space Association, better known as NASA, has found proof of alien life. Now, naturally, any announcement of the sort would be a major event, so obviously I felt the need to talk about this. As of right now, NASA has made no such claim. They are hopeful of finding life outside planet Earth, somewhere in the rest of the universe, but they say they have not, as of this installment, anyways. That being said, that's pretty much the story. Could I have extended this segment longer and built up the suspense better? Yes. But unlike the anonymous video making the announcement, I decided to keep it short and simple. Seriously, what a waste of 12 minutes. That being said, feel free to check out the video and waste 12 minutes of your time if you've got nothing better to do by checking out the link to the anonymous video in the description. Well, okay, that was fun and short. Next up is a dose of Nature Hates Us. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What natural disaster or animal mauling occurred this time? But it's not what brought on this segment today, so breathe easy. This segment was brought on by the reminder that the average human life expectancy is apparently rather mediocre. Okay, so barring the possibility that you might die from unexpected human violence, unforeseen illness, be the victim of some natural disaster or sudden animal attack, or that you have the chance that you are caught in a life-ending accident like being randomly hit by a bus, science says that the average human life expectancy is somewhere in the 70s. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's not too bad. Others of you might be thinking, that's the average, but I'll live longer than that. And then some of you other folks might be thinking, hell, I'll be lucky if I get anywhere close to 70 at the rate I'm going. Regardless of your response, get ready to be possibly a little upset. You see, you would think that a species capable of reaching 100 years old, or even longer than that, to be impressive. But we, by which I mean humans, are not even in the top 10 in regards to animals in nature with the highest life expectancy. Just look at this damn chart. Do you see that? The longest living animal could reach the age of half a millennia under optimal conditions. Now that's ridiculous. You know, I never thought I could find myself in a situation where I'm envious of a tortoise, but damn, 175 years old. I wouldn't mind that. And don't even get me started on the Greenland shark or the ocean quahog. 400 to 500 years. Oh, gosh. Just imagine it. You'd be able to meet your kids, your grandkids, great grandkids, great great grandkids, etc. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. But then again, the trade-off for them is they have to live in the ocean. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. These animals are literally swimming in their own urine. Still, when you look at this chart and realize how mediocre the human life is, as far as expectancy, relatively speaking, you kind of have to come to the conclusion that nature hates us. Alright, last segment for this installment, and what better way to end this installment than with a segment I haven't done in a long time. But it's a favorite of mine. Here's a recommendation. Listeners, I enjoy a good poem from time to time, and I must say, I like reading them to you too. And I read a rather interesting one recently that I wanted to recommend and share with you. The poem is called Wishful Thinking by Bodie James. Now for my favorite part, reading it. I wish for the day when a man is a man, when the flaws of another aren't gold in his hand. When the bread in his kitchen is ample for meals, any extra is given without contracts or deals. When the waste of a nation is a feast for the swine, when compassion and honor are traits of mankind. When we know we are human from the sadness we bear, when a life is extinguished anytime, anywhere. When we prosper as brothers, without culture or creed, without hate or dissension, without anger and greed. I wish for the moment when humanity wins, when people aren't strangers, but equals and friends. When we break from a history of fear and regret, and we stop looking back and start looking ahead. When a lie is a weapon, when truth is a shield, and knowledge a blade we can sharpen and wield. When we vow to remember and dare to forget, when we follow our path without judgment and threat. I wish for the day we all read this anew, the reader's to blame. It can never come true. You know, that poem always gets me a bit teary-eyed, because it echoes a lot of my sentiments internally. But I still don't believe that to be wishful thinking. I believe it to be a reality when we can all reach. Someday. I encourage you to read the poem yourself and come up with your own points of view on it. Links in the description. With that being said, before I close this installment, I'd like to take one more moment, because I actually received pretty bad news today while working on this episode. Apparently a relative of mine passed away today. She was a very nice person who was very down to earth and quite fun-loving, even in her older years, which is when I really got to interact with her. It's never easy when someone in your family passes away, distant or close. But it's always nice to remember the good times and appreciate the people you've got in your life, because you never know when they'll be gone. That's why I appreciate all of you, my listeners. I hope you have a great week. Take it away, Jasmine.
I will swallow my pride. You're the one that I love, and I'm saying goodbye. Say something, I'm giving up on you. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you.